and welcome back to another episode of Camp Confidence.
Conversations about confidence, self improvement, and success between two Filipina entrepreneurs on two different journeys.
I am Ayn Bernos, the founder of Morena the Label and Ideology Studio.
And I am Rizza LANA-SEBASTIAN, the founder and CEO of LANA-PH and mink.ph.
For today's episode, we are talking about how to launch a business. Super exciting.
Yes, aside from Google and YouTube Academy, how I really wished I started my businesses with a mentor already, or at least someone who can at least guide me kung paano to do, kung how to do it right. Kasi dati wala talaga. As in, Josh
Yeah.
and I did it on our own. And we were just, winging it. Pero
That's
no regret.
true.
Even if we bootstrapped everything, at least I know what not to do. And share my mistakes to other people so they won't do it anymore. So, ayan. So, I'll make the mistake so you won't ang peg. Ganun.
Ay nako, sobrang important. Especially like the processes, the checklist.
Mm.
We don't know about them when we start, but today we're gonna share them with you.
Yes.
Ayan, but before we start this conversation, kamusta? How are we? What are your wins of the week, Riza?
Oh, one of the biggest wins I had this week was I signed up for a Zoom yoga class. Kasi yun nga,
Hey.
parang for the past few episodes, I mentioned na I've been slacking off sa fitness part of my life. Pero ayan nga, parang ang saya lang na may accountability partner ka na. So we do it
Yeah.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And wala lang, ang saya na parang, yes, may kasama na akong ibang tao mag-workout. Ganon. So, ang
I
saya
have a
lang.
question sa
Yeah.
sa fitness, especially with your schedule. Because I've been having this dilemma for the last week. Because I've been consistent with my workout routine. But then, I started going to work full-time. Tapos
Mhm.
napansin ko na parang feeling ko magkakasakit ako. Alam mo yung yung over-fatigue. How do you get the energy to work out? Because that's what I'm trying to get back.
Well, to be really honest, I don't have the energy every single time, but I have to do it anyway because I know that if I am on track with my fitness
Mhm.
journey, I know my head's more clear. I mean, I can make decisions na parang in a snap na hindi ako sluggish and stuff. And it's not always perfect.
Mhm.
So, pero yung motivation ka talaga is kapag nakapag-workout ako, kapag nakapag-yoga ako in a day, parang, especially when I have a busy schedule, parang that's the time when I get more motivated to work out kasi parang I know I have the energy to, seize the day, seize my meals and stuff. So, yeah, ayun. It's different for everyone, of course. But, yun nga, yung feeling talaga yung motivation ko na parang, masarap
That's
magtrabaho
true.
after mag-workout. So, yeah.
Sige na nga, fine. Okay, after this, naka-sports bra na nga ako eh. Like, I'm
Love
ready
it.
to go. I just need to, I just need to do it. Okay,
Mm-mm.
good
So,
point.
that's also one of the perks na you are your own boss or you
True.
manage your own business because you can squeeze in a lot on your schedule and isa na rin yun, syempre, yung workout. And I think it's your responsibility as a business owner as well to be fit and healthy for your company and for your staff, ganon, and your clients.
Okay, if you
That's
put it
the
that
thinking.
way, sige na nga. Okay, I shall reinvest on my fitness. Noted, madam. Got it.
So that being said, let's dive right into this exciting topic on how to launch a business. So, ano ba?
So
Sige,
let's
go for
start
it.
with your personal launch success. So para to give our listeners a background for those who are listening for the first time, maybe so they can have an idea of what we do. Ikaw, what was your launch process with your businesses now?
Ako, sa totoo lang, I only had this launch process nung Mink. Kasi Lana, yeah,
Ah,
Mink lang. Kasi I learned a lot when I launched Lana by myself. I actually made a YouTube video about this actually. Parang yung Mink launch video ko namin. na parang I said na, alam mo ba, ako lang yung nag-launch mag-isa ng LANA-PH and wala akong PR, wala akong social media presence that time. Kasi I don't know any better. Alam mo yun? Parang hindi naman ako magaling. Parang for once, I was a very private person. I only post mga personal stuff, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
etc. when I started Lana. So, wala talaga akong kaalam-alam. So, wala akong mga pa-teaser, wala akong mga pa-send muna ng PR sa social media friends before
Yeah.
to launch. Walang ganon. So, nung nag-launch ako ng Lana, ako lang tsaka si Josh when I made the website live, parang, okay, click, okay. Tapos crew na for the weeks ahead, ganon. So, parang ang konti ng benta, ganon. So, parang wait lang, hindi tama to. What should I do better next time na I launch something? So, ano ba? So, yun, ang dami ko talagang, uh, learning experiences from that launch. Kasi, na dapat pala first is, you have to have teasers, you have to be present on social media, talk about it. And then next tip, I think, would be before a couple of weeks before your launch, you have to send PR packages. Kahit to your friends, your family, or
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have connections with the social media influencers yet, I think you have to give free products to your family and friends just so during your launch, parang i-request mo lang sa kanila na, okay, for example, July 1 ka nag-launch, diba? You
Mm-hmm.
request sa friends na, can I request na July 1 kayo mag-post ng lahat ng reviews nyo, ng lahat ng parang product photos, just so when you launch, parang pag tinignan na ng mga tao yung page mo or yung website mo, marami ng reviews. Yun. So,
Yeah, kasi 'di ba parang we tend to hold back our project. Gusto natin success na agad. But then our first circle, our inner circle, they're the ones who's gonna give us the most support, especially if we ask for it. So I think that's one thing also na I wish I did kasi iba yung merong tulong ng ibang tao. Na sobrang, it's so different. I thought, you can only come out if you're a success, but to become a success, you need to go through that whole thing.
exactly. Tsaka parang you can always learn from YouTube or Google or everything, but it's still, experience is still the best teacher. Parang you can have all your checklists and everything, but wala naman talagang cookie cutter rule for launches. So, yeah.
So what was your favorite launch story?
I think definitely it would be Mink. Kasi yun nga, natuto na ako from LANA-PH, ganyan. So, we had traction then with the community. And blessed na rin kami nun, nung Mink launch. Kasi we counter marketed or cross-posted on Lana na parang, hey, we're having a new sister, ganyan. Na parang, just be genuine with your community. And, don't be afraid of being vulnerable online, especially with your community, kasi that's how they feel parang your passion with your business. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think siguro ganun lang din talaga akong business owner or entrepreneur na parang I have the heart for every product and every brand. So, okay lang yun. Ayan nga, be vulnerable. And next, yung sa Mink, happy ako kasi nga, yun nga, may traction na. Tapos parang, just a couple of minutes after the launch, parang may kaching na, may benta na, ganon. So, saya, ganon. But it's not an overnight success. I learned along the way. And if you are, sa mga listeners natin, if you will be launching your first project or your first business, it's a stepping stone for
Yeah.
all of the learnings ahead. Ayun. So,
Nakakatuwa yung
how about you?
difference
Ano ba? Oo.
between Mink and Lana. Parang yeah, you launched Mink and to I guess to people na hindi nila alam yung pinagdaanan mo through Lana. They think, "Oh, okay, like it was overnight, like as soon as you launched, it was a success." But then really before you got there, there was this whole other brand that had to launch from the very beginning. na
Crawl our way up to the
exactly.
ladder.
I guess like launching takes practice also.
Oh,
And ano. So I launched Morena the label twice because the first time around I had a different supplier and parang it was more of an online business on the side. And then I was in Spain nun. So parang when I launched it, I kind of just started posting pictures and then boosting the ads on Facebook, but I didn't really know halimbawa the processes, the back end processes of the business itself. I was all marketing because that's what I used to do before. So after that, a year later, I decided that I would be doing everything in-house. So yun, I got my equipment, ako na lahat. And then I launched. Tapos na-realize ko na yung operation side, oh my gosh, nakakaloka siya. It's not something that you can just go into na wala kang plano. Tapos dumating yung orders, tapos hilo-hilo ka, hindi mo alam kung saan
true.
kukunin yung staff, yung workforce, yung physical energy to supply the products, ganyan. I remember I launched on my birthday. L-
Yeah.
Birthday last year? Was it last year? Yeah, yeah. Tapos, pagod na pagod ako. Midnight, we launched the website. After that, yung mga pinrint ko for our outlet. Meron kasi kaming lifestyle store na outlet ng Morena the Label products. I also dinala ko yung products that day on my birthday. And by 4 p.m., I was asleep. I was so tired. As in, grabe, hindi ko makalimutan yun. Tulog ako ng 4 p.m. ng birthday ko kasi,
Oh my
ugh.
gosh.
But it's so fulfilling
Yeah.
being able to put something out there and knowing na, okay, this is our baby and then people are gonna see it and if they like it, alam mo yun, talagang they support it with their pesos and it really means a lot.
Yeah, that is very true. You will, when you are starting your own business and you're all by yourself, nakakapagod talaga siya. But at the end of the day, you're right. It's very fulfilling, especially when you have a happy client and you finally deliver that first parcel of your order. It's so, so fun.
Ah, gosh, I would never trade it for the world.
Totoo.
Okay.
Anyway, sige na. Let's dive right into this week's community questions. Ang daming nag-send.
Ang
Ang saya.
dami and ang ganda.
Oo, ang exciting niya. And we are actually looking at making this two parts ulit, no?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, ayan. Sige, for our first question from Prey Valencia. Can I also trust my gut feeling when it comes to business? Isn't it too much of a risk?
Yeah, what's your relationship with risk?
I love risks. We are such very risk takers kami ni Josh. Parang sabi ko nga I had a lot of trust. I have a lot of trust my gut decisions in my life. Launching Mink for one. We had people in our circle telling us na parang, wait lang, sure ba kayo? Will it fly? Na parang, for sure, I also had someone telling me na for sure hindi yan ginagawa ng iba kasi there are underlying reasons. May mga ganon. Tapos, meron ding mga nagsasabi na, oh my gosh, I think that's very risky. Won't your Facebook ads account get banned? Kasi nga parang a boob mask, mga butt scrub, ganyan. So, well, but Josh and I did it anyway. Kasi we know deep down na this will fly. Parang we know right in our gut na this
Yeah.
will fly. We believed in it and we never stopped until we made it happen. So for me though, trust it when you can take the hit. Alam mo yun? Parang
Mhm.
that when everything goes to south, you will be willing to take that risk. Na ako nga actually, I clearly remembered September 2019. That was our last na talaga to for Lana. Kasi for
Mhm.
our new listeners out here, yun nga, September 2019, sobrang hindi okay yung Lana. And yun nga, Lana wasn't
Talaga?
making that much. Mm-mm.
I didn't know the story. Tell me more.
Yeah, yun nga, September 2019, oo, January actually, January 2019, that I was crying. after New Year. Na parang sabi ko, Josh, ba't hindi ko makita yung Lana? Umiiyak talaga ako as in panic attacks level, nanginginig, humihikbe, ganong level. Tapos parang sabi ni Josh, hindi, let's make 2019 happen. And if hindi talaga kaya, sige na, let's close down. Tapos ayoko pumayag kasi baby ko talaga to. Parang meron akong dalawang empleyadong pinapasweldo and I can't just close down just because I really love LANA-PH.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos parang yun nga, I clearly remember September 2019, yung last of Josh and I savings, ininvest namin sa isang mastermind workshop. Tapos, we were going all in only because maybe kami lang ni Josh kasi nawala kami masyadong financial responsibilities for the family. Alam mo yun. Plus,
Mm-mm.
um, nag-compute kami ng lahat ng mga gadgets namin, lahat ng pwedeng mabenta. Sabi namin, pag hindi to gumana, pwede naman natin ibenta tong mga to. So,
Mm-mm.
cut the story short, we attended the mastermind. It was our last 50,000 pesos in our pocket.
Oh my
Tapos,
gosh.
yeah, we we nag-all in talaga kami. But that was the mastermind that blew up the business. Alam mo yun, parang we had the right connections, we had the right network, we had the right mentorship programs from everyone. Kasi, as in, dun sa mastermind workshop na yun, kami talaga yung pinakabagito. And that's also one of the things I like in life. Parang in a room, I want to be someone na ako yung matututo. Parang, I always want to be uncomfortable, to be honest. And kami ni Josh, lagi naman kaming all in. Parang we
Mm-hmm.
just make it work. Alam mo yun, parang, hindi kami sure sa decision na to, but sige, let's do it. Let's just make it work. Ganon talaga lagi yung giggle namin with life ever since. And yun nga, we never stop until we make it. So, ayun.
That's so inspiring.
Ganon. Parang,
Ang galing.
ayun. How about you? Ano, what's your take on this?
L-
Trusting your gut.
Grabe. Like, I was thinking this whole time. I mean, I knew Lana was a slow growth, ganyan. Pero, I didn't know na you guys had this, are we gonna close down phase? Because I think all businesses, especially, if it's bootstrapped, you really have to go through that. You decide, ano ba, tutuloy ba to? Or do I give up para to restart in another dream or another job and just be realistic? Ako naman, with risk, I believe in calculated risks. Kasi I'm really not the type to just take the leap ng hindi ko sure. Kasi I don't know, maybe that's just my personality. I love planning. So when I started my businesses, actually, ito yung a lot of people are mistaken about my background story. I actually never took the risk to just go all in until I had to the very, very last minute. Parang I've been working on Morena since 2018, and I started it because I needed an extra source of income kasi I was moving to Spain. So it wasn't a full-blown business in the beginning. It was just a side hustle na I needed for money. Tapos, I had a day job. I've always had a day job. As in, meron akong stable income from my employer. And then, I had the business on the side. Now, when I moved back last year, that's when it all started. Kasi, nawala na akong trabaho eh. And it was parang my shot. I guess now, in hindsight, I should have gone through the whole risk. Pero, because of my personality, hindi ko siya gagawin without the right push. And me moving back, I guess, was the right push. Sabi ko, I need to give myself a chance to make this work. Because if I'm always working for somebody else, I won't ever be able to grow this in the scale that I want. So, parang I had to commit, okay, let's give it a year or let's give it 2 years kung anong mangyayari. And the worst case scenario was that I had to go back to corporate life, you know. Pagka hindi ito nag-workout, edi babalik ako, maghanap ako ulit trabaho, which is not that bad, all things considered. I think I'm very privileged to be in the position na wala akong sinusuportahang family, wala akong anak, wala akong pinapaaral. So, I owe it to myself to try at this time. So, ayun, I am a huge believer of calculated risks, but at a certain point, you need to recognize when it's time to jump, jump, jump. Kasi that's the only way this can really move forward. And I went into this with a whole plan. As in, I had a pitch deck, I had a business plan, I had talked to friends, I tried to explain the business model I had in mind para hindi parang naka-clarify ko because the more you talk about your issues or your problems or your vision, the more it becomes clear, and it really helped me do that risk na meron akong confidence sa sarili ko. So, ako, as for Pray's question, I don't think I can personally trust my gut feeling, but then I trust my gut feeling with a lot of research, a lot of planning, and then knowing na gusto ko yung belief na other people have done it before, so I need to try it as well. Kasi sayang if I don't give it a shot and then I just lose the opportunity forever. So there.
Right. No regrets dapat.
No
Like,
regrets.
especially if you have if you have the time, if you have the youth and energy to do things, and yun nga, given the fact na, for example, wala ka pa masyadong financial responsibilities, I think you have to go ahead and take the leap. But, yun nga, if you have the kind of personality like Ayin has, parang very, very important din talaga yun to calculate your risks.
Mm-hmm. Next question is from Leon Marie Gonzalez. How do you deal with separating the money? Like, how much do you need to put in certain areas of your business? Like payroll, utility, savings. Gusto ko tong question na to for you. Kasi ako parang, I'm still trying to learn this part, like finances.
Yeah, actually ako before, as in, please do not do this. Ano, parang lahat ng personal business, iisang bank account lang. But I realized along the way that you have to create a separate bank account for your personal and business. So you can easily sign up a bank account through Union Bank or GCash or
Mm-hmm.
ING if you're just starting out. Kasi at least you know kung ano lang yung money na pwede mong gastusin. Kasi minsan tempting na na kapag kunwari, oh my gosh, ang daming perang pumapasok sa bank ko. But, and parang may tendency ka to spend it on mindless things,
Mm-hmm.
Lazada, mid-year sale. So, so ayun, at least you know kung ano lang yung pwede mong for utilities, for your salary, for your personal things like bags, etc., etc. So,
Mm-hmm.
yun nga. Lesson and tip.
Ako,
Separate
recently
bank
lang ako
accounts.
that yung separating ng bank accounts, ganyan. Before, I used to have just one kasi I was just alone. Parang wala akong responsibility na bayaran na ibang tao, ganyan. But then, when I started having to pay my staff, dun ako naging, oh no, like, there needs to be money until the end of the month, until, like, it needs to keep going. And, yun, sineseparate ko na siya ngayon. And yeah, I think I'm also it's important to heavily document everything so that even if you don't know yet in the beginning, you're still learning how to go about it. At least you have a record of where you're spending the money so that you can appropriately make decisions moving forward para mas maayos. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
tsaka,
it's a work in progress.
totoo. Tsaka you have to work on your budget lagi. Na parang, actually, for example, kaka-launch mo lang for this month, at least,
Mm-mm.
kunwari, by August, you have parang a spitball estimate kung magkano yung utilities mo, yung water, alam mo yun, electricity, etc., etc. Then, you have to set aside pati yung mga cost of goods mo. So, syempre,
Mm-mm.
inventory,
Yeah.
very, very important. Kapag nawalan ka ng cash flow for your inventory, wala kang ibebenta. So, yun.
Ay nako, natutunan ko yan like last week.
Love it, love it.
Sobrang natuwa lang ako kasi before, when halimbawa naubusan ako ng inventory, alam mo yun, like, I'll get money from my personal savings, my personal income sa halimbawa content creation work, ganyan. Tapos parang ako, oh my God, nauubos yung pera ko kakabili ng inventory. Tapos last week, nung nag-restock kami, I was like, oh my gosh, nabayaran ko siya ng ano, using the company's money. Which
Love it.
is such an achievement kasi ngayon ko lang na-realize yung feeling na gano'n na parang, "Oh, may budget kami."
Love it. Ayan. So
Ayan.
going back, for our next question, it's from Lian Marie Gonzalez again. What tools do you use to manage your social media accounts?
Pinag-usapan natin 'to the other day.
Ikaw, ano nang napag-decidean mong gamitin?
Well, I've been trying I've been trying later and Planoli. I decided to go with Planoli because I like the interface. Also kasi very Instagram heavy yung businesses namin. And yun nga, since I work with a very limited staff, as in I only have one person who helps me with operations, with the printing, and then I have my sister who helps me with customer service, and then everything else is me. So what I wanted to do was to really automate yung posting kasi we rely heavily on social media. So with Planoli, I like it because it's auto post and then you can see the grid, which is so important because aesthetic. And ayun, you can cross post Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. Tapos, ayun, it's with that account. Now, if I had other people to help me, then that would probably be different. But I guess in my situation, because I'm alone, it helps na just once a month I do the content and then I just let it go so I can focus on other stuff. So ayun. What do you use, madam?
Yeah, right. Ako din before, up until now, use Planoly for post scheduling for Instagram. And then I also use Facebook Creator Studio. So if you have a page, you can go to your Creator Studio. You can go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and schedule it for your Facebook feed, etc., etc. And I like it na yun nga, very automated na siya. And hindi naman na kailangang isipin. Parang you just have to dedicate one day of your week to post at least 1 to 2 weeks worth of content. And that's it. Ano pa ba? Google Drive for all of the
I
for
love
all of
Google
our
Drive.
photos, especially now that most of us are working from home, para rin at least lahat ng photos, lahat ng graphics are
Mm-hmm.
HD and stuff. So, yeah.
Meron pa ba akong ibang ginagamit? Yeah, I think mostly it. Medyo very helpful naman yung mga built-in analytics ng
Mm-mm.
Facebook and Instagram. So, if you wanna grow your social media or your social media pages, it really helps to understand the numbers. Madami namang tutorials sa YouTube University,
Yes,
ganyan. So, if you're ever confused, it's such a good way to learn.
true.
All right, next question is from Neko Me. Can or how do introverts survive and grow business? In relation to that, how to deal with being shy in promoting and or marketing your business? How do you build connections with and gain customers with relatively zero connections in the field or niche? Thank you. Ayan. Do you consider yourself an introvert or extrovert?
I
Ambivert.
am a
Ambivert.
self-confessed, siguro ambivert nga. So
Mm-hmm.
kasi, and it was a struggle for me in the beginning. I mean, I could genuinely talk to people in events and enjoy it, but I have to hibernate for at least 1 to 2 days before I can have the energy to talk to people again. Ako, in terms of promoting and marketing your business, I think you just have to do it. You don't need to be if you are a super duper introvert, you don't need to be on video or Facebook lives. Alam mo yan, kahit posts lang on social media because you really need to be seen online nowadays. You have
Mm-hmm.
to be visible. Kasi tsaka people won't talk about your business if you yourself won't talk about it. I mean, paano nila malalaman kung may business
Yeah.
ka? Tsaka, hey, you have to be proud of your hard work in the first place na parang share them your story, ganyan-ganyan. Well, in terms of building connections naman, I started with joining Facebook groups. I interact with them, ask questions, just give out kumbaga, relevant answers or comments sa mga posts. And that way, people will start seeing you more and trust you more. Tapos, that's also where you can also practice talking to people and not be shy about it. Kasi, nasa Facebook ka lang naman and ayun. Tapos, ano pa ba? Next is networking events, which we don't have anymore and I genuinely miss. Alam
I
mo yun?
miss that.
Sometimes, yan nga, with networking events, sometimes I want to go by myself just so I'm forced to talk and network to other people. Kasi usually kasi kapag kasama ko si Josh, parang laging siya yung lifesaver ko sa conversation. Kasi di nga ako
Mm-mm.
masyadong mahilig dumaldal. Kasi he's such a very people person. So, siya lagi yung nagdadala ng conversation and stuff. Tapos parang andun na naman ako sa cocoon ko. Tahimik lang ako. Parang lagi lang ako magnunod. Oo nga. so, ayun. So, usually, kapag yun nga, uncomfortable ka or mag-isa ka lang, na-force talaga akong makipag-usap sa iba. So, yun nga, as an introvert, it will surely be uncomfortable. But, yun nga, if you continuously want to grow, this applies to life and business, by the way, prepare to always be uncomfortable and awkward.
Mm.
And you have to start embracing that. So, ayun.
When I think about the first time I started the business, parang I don't really remember using my extrovertness to my advantage because it was in social media. And the good thing about social media is you can grow it without necessarily using your face. It's not like if you were in a bazaar. Kasi sa bazaar, you need to reach out to people like, "Hi, ma'am, sir, eto po, try niyo po." You don't have to do that on social media. On social media, you can be your brand and you can promote your brand without ever showing yourself out there. Although it will definitely help kasi it helps if a brand has a personality. Pero you can build a personality through the brand itself. There are so many ways to go about it. You can have your Facebook ads, you can reach out to influencers through the brand account. You can, send people PR packages. When I started Morena, tuwang-tuwa ako kasi I yun nga, people started sharing just the Morena photos, not even through me, as in through just the Morena, the label account. And then Dominic Coanco and Kiana Valenciano both saw it and they liked the post and then they commented on the post. And I was like, oh my gosh, hala, like, kilala, alam mo yun, like, personally, hindi ko naman sila kilala. Like, I'm not in their circle, whatever. But then I messaged them using the Morena, the label account. And so, after nun, like, I've been sending Kiana PR packages, tapos she's been wearing the clothes. And that's not even because she knows me. She doesn't know anything about me.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't know I exist, but it's just through the brand. So I think it's definitely doable. You can promote and market your business without having to change yourself. There are so many successful introvert entrepreneurs. So it's all about getting creative and seeing what you're comfortable with, and ayun, like, it's business. It doesn't have to be your life, your personal life.
Exactly.
I
Right.
think it's healthy to have boundaries talaga, and the more you see the difference between your business life and your personal life, the more you can make objective decisions, ganyan. So you got this, girl.
Ayan nun. Thanks for reminding me about that.
Ayan. Nabublur ang boundaries.
True, very much. So, anyway, for our next question, it's from Tisha Ann Ambal. What management apps do you use? Also, what's your best career?
Oh, love this question.
I go.
Management apps. So, I've been, well, kasi I have a very, very small team. And by small team, I mean like 2 to 3 people. So, what we've been using a lot are Google, as in Google Sheets. I love spreadsheets. And then yung orders, and then yung status ng stuff.
Same. Mm.
Tapos, we also have, I personally have Trello, Google Keep. I tried Asana, but I think it's more of a bigger team project management app kasi, I mean, it helped me during the launch, pero like by myself day to day, it's kind of hard kung wala naman akong ibang ka-work doon. Pero I think Asana is really nice. Ikaw?
Yeah, I was about to say I love Asana kasi it's a project management tool. Tapos dun ko nilalagay lahat ng mga to-do list ko per department. So, just so I won't be messaging them lagi. Tapos parang matatabunan na lahat ng
Mm-mm.
messages. So, so for Asana, they can also edit and add more for their to-do lists in a day. Just so after a week, I can see the progress din. Kung ano ba yung productive ba sila this week? Ano ba yung natapos nila? Ganyan. And it also lessens the meetings. Kasi minsan may mga, oh, ano nang status nito? Oh, let's go around the room. Anong status nito? Parang hindi ko na kailangang magganon na meeting just
Yeah.
because I have Asana and a great project management tool. Tapos, ano pa ba? Yeah, Google products, ako din. Tsaka, syempre, Zoom. Especially now that we are almost parang, ilan ba? Mga
4 months?
70% of,
I
of
don't.
my, 70? Mga 60% naman. 60% of my
Mm-mm.
staff works from home. So, ayan, Zoom is life.
Mm-mm. Best career.
Yeah, career. Yan.
This
I
has been a
love
problem for me.
I love Ninja Van. Shout out to my account managers, Mela and Mark. They have they have the best customer service, I must admit. And they also offered a program called COD Advance. Hindi ko alam kung na-chika ko na sa'yo to, madam. So,
Coolness.
kasi 'di ba tayong mga Pinoy mahilig talaga tayo sa cash on delivery. But
Mm-mm.
for us business owners, we can only receive your cash on delivery payment after a week. So, for example, if a client pays today, we will receive it in our bank accounts the following week pa. Ganon pag cash on delivery
Mm-mm.
kasi. As a business, di ba, sobrang crucial ng cash flow, yung
Yeah.
paikot ng pera, kung baga. So when they rolled out COD Advance, ang mangyayari is when lahat ng mga na-encode mo sa system na cash on delivery, ide-deposit na agad nila yung 50% nun sa bank account mo the next day, whether
Wow.
if it's delivered or not. Ayan. Kasi 'di ba usually parang magde-deposit lang sila sa'yo ng COD remittances kapag received na ni client.
Yeah, sobrang
But with
tagal.
but with COD advance, parang I actually calculated it takes around 2 weeks before you get from shipping your parcel to getting the money. Parang roughly 1.5 to
Yeah.
2 weeks ganyan. So sayang 'yon, 'di ba, yung cost of
Mm-mm.
money. But yeah, ang saya nun kasi kahit na-deliver na siya or hindi, babayaran ka ng at least 50%. So if you guys are interested, you can connect with me on Instagram if we have business owners right here. So I can make a
Mm.
GC with them. Hashtag not sponsored, but I won't complain if they sponsor us in the future.
Please sponsor us in the future. I love it. I
Diba?
also just onboarded with Ninja Van like yesterday, as in yesterday. Tapos, ayun, I'm so excited because number one, my issue with LBC is great, especially kung patingi-tingi. But right now, during the quarantine, oh my gosh, have I told you about my experience with LBC the last couple of weeks? Kaya ako pagod na pagod because I wake up before 7 so that I can be at the LBC store by 7:15. And then
Nakakaloka.
pagdating ko sa 7:15, 8 o'clock yung bukas 7:15 nandun na ako. Kukuha ko number and I'm like 20 plus.
Oh
Tapos
my
uuwi
gosh.
ako. Tapos babalik na lang ako ng mga 11 ganyan. Kasi sobrang haba ng pila. Tapos syempre, I have a
It's
lot of
from 8 to
orders.
11, 20. Oh my God.
Yes.
Ugh.
Lalo na ngayon during the pandemic, everyone's selling online, everyone's trying to padala money, daming nagre-remit, ganyan. So, ang hirap talaga, ang haba ng pila. Tapos, alam mo yon, I have to do it constantly because I have a lot of provincial orders. So, with my, Metro Manila orders, natutunan ko to from Rizza. So, ayun, I have my in-house delivery network na. Oh my
Yes.
gosh!
Love it.
Yeah, so I work directly. Since medyo regular naman yung deliveries namin, we partnered with mga riders. We have like three riders that we
Ang
work
saya.
with
Congrats.
para sa kanila na diretso yung yung shipping fee. Which is so nice because parang, we have more people that we work with.
Exactly. And we help them as well.
We
Kasi,
help them.
yeah.
So yeah. If I guess for the best career question, Ninja Van, especially if nationwide and COD, if Metro Manila and meron ka namang regular na kuya na pwede mong kausapin, it helps to build a relationship, like a personal relationship with them. Para, alam mo yun, like, trusted mo na rin for COD, for immediate deliveries. Yun, it really helps. Pati customer satisfaction, mas mabilis dumating sa kanila. Tutuwa rin sila. And then
Exactly.
ako, LBC, pagka hindi na talaga. Yeah.
When all else fails.
When all else fails, we have LBC. Pipila ka lang talaga ng matagal.
Yes. 4 hours of work.
Never again. Okay, from Aldrich Cancino. How do we use social media in advertising the product or service? And how much should I risk?
Well, kasi ano ba, social media is free, so utilize it to the best of your abilities. Kami, we post at least 4 times a week, and it's also best to acknowledge your client tags, messages,
Mm,
tsaka reply to them, please.
yeah.
Reply to every single one of them. It's part of customer service, and they will really appreciate it kapag nagre-reply talaga, lalo kapag personalized yung reply.
Mm,
Kasi yeah, oo, part yan ng customer service. And you know what, even if sa amin on our end, if there's a bad comment, sometimes you get tempted to block na lang kaya natin to or ban na lang. But if it's a reasonable complaint, you have to go out of your way to deal with it head on. Ako, usually, if I get DMs or messages from clients, I really make sure I reply to them, especially
mm,
if it's a complaint. And I really, really appreciate clients. I genuinely appreciate clients na nagsasabi sa akin or tag me in their comments, etc., etc. Kasi it's also my responsibility to make them happy, to
mm,
give them value for their money, to give them value for their money. And yeah, ako kasi very very much of a customer service person talaga ako.
mm.
Tsaka yun nga ano mo to, business mo to, and you have to take responsibility with everything.
Yeah.
Risk wise, I don't see much of a risk, except that you have to be cautious about what you're posting. Kasi minsan pag nagkamali ka lang ng sinabi, alam mo naman, sobrang
Mm-mm.
viral ka na in a bad way, and how can you even save yourself from it? So,
Yeah. I like that I like that you mentioned na social media is free.
oo.
Kasi, yun nga, a lot of people think na, oh, I need to be investing so much in marketing. But if you're creative and you invest time, you can really make social media one of your primary sources of, I guess, new leads. Sobrang important na social media in advertising. Now, as for ads, ano naman it's very manageable, especially here in the Philippines. Parang you can promote a post, you can boost a post for as little as 60 pesos a day. So
Exactly.
that's really doable. Even when I started, as in I would boost for a weekend, let's say I have a weekend sale, I'd spend 400 pesos on ads and then bowing bawi yun. So I think if you have physical products na as in talagang physical inventory na madali lang ibenta, ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, they're so, so helpful. Nakita ko pa nga
Yes.
yung Lana sa Tinder eh.
I love.
Nagsaswipe ako, Lana, Lana,
Kailangan.
hinahabol ako ng Lana.
So yeah, kami talaga, Facebook ads is life. A huge chunk of our marketing budget goes there. Siguro mga 80% ganyan
Wow.
goes to Facebook ads. Kasi nga, we utilize social media talaga. We post and
Mm,
post tags, hashtags, ganyan. So,
yeah.
yeah, make social media work for you, not the other way around.
That's true. Yung ano, actually, I have yet to boost ads again kasi when I when I started, I wanted to see how far social media can take me, especially with the launch. Since, yun nga, gusto ko parang to kind of control the flow of orders para we can also, we can deliver. Tapos, yun, inoptimize ko muna. When we first launched like 2 weeks ago, we wanted to see muna how far we can push the free advertising. Kasi, syempre, it's a small business. You don't wanna keep spending and spending on your, your marketing agad. So, because social media is free, like, how do we get creative and how do we become resourceful and really push it para makuha natin yung reach na gusto natin without necessarily spending a lot. So, viral content, making videos, personalizing the experience, it's all doable and it's all YouTube Academy.
True. Tsaka create valuable content
Mhm.
for your community, for your clients. You can't just always do benta, 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 benta.
Yeah.
Parang give them a reason why they should stay with you, why they should choose you as a brand.
Alam mo ba, when I started, so recently I started posting educational content on Morena. Tapos grabe yung reach niya. As in, nagugulat ako. As in, yung shares and bookmarks. As in, we would reach like 300, 400 shares. It's parang, what? And that's not paying anything. That's just me, the stuff that I would share on my personal account, like, because I used to post a lot about, like colorism, ganyan. And instead of posting it on my personal account, I would post sa Morena and then make infographics. Tas grabe talaga. Like, people just like na they're getting something out of it na hindi nila kailangan bayaran. Because at the end of the day, it's not just a product, it's an experience. And you want to be there for them whether they're buying or not. Because, yeah, it's not just about the money, it's about your presence and why they're part of the community. Amen.
Amen. Ayan. So our next question is from Gracie or Grazie. How to properly price physical goods considering all your overhead costs? Thank you, Ayin daw.
Thank you, Ayin. Okay, so number one, yun nga, costing is so important. Knowing the suppliers, how much each product is gonna cost to make. I think this is something that a lot of beginner entrepreneurs tend to overlook. Yung parang, oh, konting profit kasi para mura-mura. But then at the end of the day, how much are you paying your labor? How much are you paying yun nga sa overhead costs. So a good estimate, I guess, would be to start with the cost of the raw materials, ganyan. And then after that, magdagdag ka na for labor cost and overhead. Somebody gave me advice before na like 20% daw of your product cost. You add on top of that and then another 20% for labor. So you have a breathable space na you can, move your products around without naghihingalo ka na sa business. So it's important to have profit kasi I keep seeing these online shops pinapush down yung profit to the point na ang hirap maging sustainable ng business.
Tsaka at the end of the day, it's a business and you have to take profit out of it.
Mhm.
Alam mo yun.
Yeah,
So,
because
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
I mean, you pay people, and you can't pay people without making profit. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's part of it.
So yeah, on my end, you can go ahead and pause this podcast, get a pen and paper, and compute with me. Three, two, one. Okay, welcome back. Compute. Ito yung, ganito ako mag-compute on how I price my physical product. So, yun nga, yung cost of goods, how, yung raw materials, yung kung magkano mo nakukuha talaga yung product. And then, ito yung mga i-add mo nga, yung cost of goods, salaries, utilities, which is rent, water, electricity, internet. And you also have to take into account your marketing budget. How much is your budget for influencers, for example, or Facebook ads? Then get the total and then divide it to your inventory. So let's say for example, eto na lang, for example, you're selling phone cases. And then let's say you can move 100 phone cases in a month. Tapos, ang cost ng phone case is 200 pesos, yung paggawa, for example. So, that's 200 times 100. 200 pesos times 100. That will bring you up to 20,000. And let's say, for example, your salary, you're paying one person, that's 15,000, let's say, for example. And then your rent is 4,000. Water is 1,000. Talagang naglagay ako ng computation dito.
Mm-mm. Go, go, go.
Ayan.
Gusto ko to. I'm listening.
Electricity is, I love math. Ayan. So, electricity is 2,000, marketing expense is 3,000, for example, and that brings you to a total of 45,000 pesos a month. So your total cost would be 45,000 pesos divided by 100. That's the number of phone cases you can sell in a month. That would be 450 pesos. Plus, syempre, kailangan natin kumita. Ako, ang nilagay kong example dito is 30% markup. So, 450 with 30% markup, which is 135 pesos, will bring your price to 585 pesos. But then, yan yung computation mo. But still,
Mm.
compare yourself to your competitors or kung paano mo ba ipi-place yung sarili mo sa medyo high-end ba, middle class, or mass market. So, with that computation, I think you can be flexible enough to go up or go down. Depende sa risk, sa appetite mo. Ganun.
I love it. Taking down notes.
Ako.
Yeah, I think it's so important because like we don't learn that in school unless you're in, I guess, an entrepreneurship degree. Pero it's such a basic thing na I wish I was taught like way 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 earlier on para ma-cultivate
Totoo.
alam mo yun yung entrepreneurial spirit. Pero that's
Exactly.
so good. Thank you, madam, for that ano yun, entrep class lesson.
Yes. Quick entrep class lesson, which I just learned
Yeah.
parang along the way kasi hindi naman din ako business person before.
Mm. Ang galing. Okay. Next question is from Neko Mi. Sabi niya, is it really necessary to register your business to DTI and BIR, especially when starting out and you don't know if it's really gonna be successful? Can you share a step-by-step guide on how to register? Any tips, budget to allocate for this specifically?
For Lana, talagang registered agad. But I also had other businesses na parang ganito rin yung thinking ko like Neko Me na parang, I'm just starting out but I don't really know if mag-fly ba to or hindi. Sa akin na lang siguro ako mag-register. Yun yung thinking ko before. So technically what happened was, yun nga, parang nag-register lang ako nung meron akong corporate clients. Tapos parang medyo natagalan ako mag-submit ng mga requirements, tapos biglang na-lose ko na yung contract, ganun. So, I hope you don't go through that phase. So, technically, yes, you have to register. Kasi, again, tama rin yung sinabi mo na if you're looking at making this big, save yourself the hassle of going through all these kung kailan meron ka ng malaking
Mm.
client. But if you are for example, just doing this as a side hustle. Kunwari, if it's a one-time thing, or for example, you're selling home-cooked meals to individuals on Facebook groups, that's when I don't think you need it,
Yeah.
honestly. So in terms of steps naman, I actually consulted with my accountant just so I'd get the correct and current rates. Shout out to Melody. Thank you so much for making my life easy. Sabi niya, you'll be needing roughly 15 to 20K for DTI hanggang BIR na to. So steps is first you have to register online through DTI. I suggest you go for national so you can conduct businesses sa entire Philippines. The next naman is City Hall. That's where you get your mayor's permit, sanitary permits, etc., etc. And it also depends on the city you're in, yung
Mhm.
cost nun. And then when you get your May estimate, etc., that's when you go to BIR for your books, receipts, collection receipts, etc. Ayun, yun yung step-by-step guide.
Yeah, so it's a lot of bureaucracy, but at the end of the day, if you see this like in the long run being your main thing, your main source of income, your like something you want to scale, then highly recommend doing it now.
Now for our next question. It's from Eliza Villamer. For side hustle businesses, what tips can you recommend in order to manage it? I'm working full time, still a newbie in the company, and I'm also starting a small business where I sell pre-loved or thrifted clothes. So time management is definitely a challenge, and I'm also struggling with marketing and branding as I'm really not that creative and my social media presence is extremely low key.
Ako bilang, dakilang raketera recovering, I used to do so you have your 9 to 5 job, but then after your 9 to 5 job, you have your 5 to 9, which is your side hustle. And while I think it's really difficult, alam mo yun, like it's hard, especially before when we had traffic, the commute was crazy. Pero I think it helps na if you put boundaries from your day job, then you can make time for other things. So, ayun, it's really important na you make that decision kasi hindi mo mabibigyan ng oras yung side hustle mo unless you allot time as if it was a second job. So, treat it as a second job na you have all the processes you do sa day job mo, gawin mo din siya sa side hustle mo para ma-feel mo talaga na you have responsibilities there. Now, as for marketing and branding, and if hindi ka like creative person, there are so many platforms, tools that you can use. So, one, best friend ng lahat ng ng non-creative creatives, canva.com. Sobrang daming
Yes.
templates. And ayan, these things are so self-teachable. I think that's one of the most important things that you can learn, most important skills, self-teaching. So, eto, like, don't worry about it. You can learn it. You don't have to be a creative person to do it. You just need to seek yung talagang tutorials on YouTube. How do I create a social media calendar? So that's one thing you might want to look up. Another thing is how do I advertise my products on Facebook? Yung mga ganon, mga free things na you don't really need to heavily invest on. Para, you don't, if it's a side hustle, just the right amount of risk and effort and energy, but you can definitely go a long way.
Right. I actually love it when you said na parang treat it as a second job. Kasi parang yung iba feeling ata nila na when you have a side hustle or a small business, parang gagawin ko lang kapag gusto ko. It's not.
Yeah.
Parang it's a full-on commitment na I remember when I was doing Wim Manila. It's the customizable phone case brand na ginawa ko way back. I was having a corporate job doing Wim Manila and studying all at the same time. I honestly did not know how I managed my time back then. But yeah, tiis lang talaga. And what if mag-blow up yung small business mo? You will reap all the benefits and stuff. Tsaka, you really have to put in the groundwork. Hindi talaga madali mag-business. Hindi lang siya all, ano ba? Feeling kasi nung iba parang akala nila ata nila na it's all glamour and it's being
It's
your
so
own
hard.
boss. But being your own boss is also being your own staff. So you do everything at first. So ayun. That's for the time management side. Yun nga, I also agree with Aina. There are also a lot of resources online you can utilize na free din, na you don't have to spend on. Kailangan mo lang talagang paglaanan ng oras. Katulad ng lahat ng bagay.
Sobrang totoo. I don't know. I think it's really the mindset shift because when I started with my side hustles, parang I always treated it as a secondary thing na I can do passively. Like, if there's anything that I want you guys to eliminate from your vocabulary, it's passive income, especially when it's in the beginning. Because when we think about passive income, it's like, oh, I'm gonna have money without doing any work. That's true. That's possible. But before a passive income becomes passive, you need to do so much work to lay the foundation. Kasi kaya naman siya passive kasi ginawa mo na beforehand yung work. So like, halimbawa, a YouTube channel. Before you can make your YouTube channel a passive income, you need to hustle to get your followers to like 100,000 YouTube subscribers. So, alam mo yun, like, passive income, when we think about it, kailangan alam din natin na it takes work to get there, to get to the passive status. So, still treat it like a second job.
Yes. Amen.
Amen. So, our final question is from Sheila May So. How did you girls do your feasibility study? Or did you hire someone else to do it? Feasibility study. Oh,
Can I just say one thing? I
uh,
did not do any.
is this for Lana or Mink or both?
For Wim, Lana, and Mink, you probably shouldn't heed my advice about this, but I'm a very practical business person. I just needed to identify what I needed to identify. First is the cost of goods. Kung ano yung pricing ko dito, how steady is the supply. Next is when after I did my pricing, I conducted market research, aka pitching to friends and asking on social media. So I did not have all these reports, all these calculations to finish a feasibility study at least. But ito siguro yung mga kailangan ko lang i-identify for myself if I'm pushing this business or not. How about, super simple lang talaga nung pagkaano ko.
Honestly, same. Kasi I think, you know, obviously a feasibility study is important. However, if you're not the type to, number one, have all the time and resources to allot to making this happen, it's, you delay the launch of your business, you delay the start and yung execution. So, like Riza, what I did was, number one, let's talk about ideology, because Morena the label is more of a, okay, gagawin ko ba to? Hindi ko ba to gagawin? It's more of a personal thing, and wala ako masyadong risk done. Now, for Ideology Studio, I focused on a couple of things. So number one, to give you guys a background, Ideology Studio is a print on demand business for influencer merch for creators and their communities. So, what the whole business is based on is my personal experience with Morena the Label. So, I was able to grow that community, and ayun nga, you can see naman na we've been able to sell shirts, and I'm not a famous vlogger. Alam mo yun, like, compared to a lot of compared to a lot of Filipino creators. As in, sobrang maliit yung numbers ko. Pero, I knew, it was possible for me. Therefore, it's even more possible with somebody who has a bigger following. So, yung feasibility study ko, it was more based on my experience. And then, syempre, this is years of working in the merch business. Parang my first merchandise business was, I was 15 years old, 15, 16, and I was selling merch, punta akong Divisoria. So ever since, I've always had experience producing it. So yung costing, ganyan, it didn't really have to be a research na talagang ginawa ko on one day, because it was years of doing the same things over and over. And then, as for yung market research, I had to pitch to my ideal clients. So the people that I work with now, for example, I'm collaborating with, say, Tioko, who has 200,000 plus YouTube subscribers, Hershey Neri, and then Mikey May. So, meron silang sarili nilang markets. I do my research as well. Like, I pitch to them. I try to talk to them. Okay, how's your community like? What do you think about these ideas? And then, ayun, from there, I kind of built it through my own research and identifying what mattered to me. Also, another thing, kasi I had equipment na for Morena and I wasn't utilizing it as well as I should have before. So the question that I really just asked myself was, how do I make more money using the things that I already have? And yun yung, to me, yun lang yung gusto ko mangyari. Parang, I don't want to spend any more. I don't want to allot too much of a budget to make this happen. Like, what is the, anong tawag nila doon? Yung VIP or, what's that? What's that acronym? Minimum viable product. Yeah, that's it. MVP, sorry. Minimum viable product. So, the minimum viable product is the product na you can release using the least amount of resources. So I'm a huge, yun nga, like what I said earlier in this episode, I said na I'm a calculated risk person. So when I started my business, I didn't have to, risk so much of my personal savings or my personal, like I try to do, okay, what can I start for really less, like, or for free? Social media, free resource ang social media. So marketing wise, not a lot of money. Free labor. Ako na lang magpe-print, ganyan. Ako na lang gagawa. So if I can't hire another person, I'll just do it myself. If I can't afford rent, edi doon ako sa sa bahay ng magulang ko. So I went with the simplest format like that I can do, and then the growth process will just depend on what I need next. So I'm a risk averse but calculated risk person. So I go with the go through the path that makes most sense for my current situation. And I guess in the long run, like I think I'm getting to the point na I would need a feasibility study for scaling kasi syempre I also want to grow. So that's, I guess, yun na muna. Pero pero I'm definitely gonna do it myself. I don't want to hire another person to do it kasi nga I don't know. I think if you're hands on, then you have a better idea of how it really is to run your own business. I think it's important to see all the different areas. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Camp Confidence Radio. Please don't forget to share and tag us on Instagram at Camp Confidence Radio if you're tuned in.
And if you want to be part of our future episodes, you can join us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/groups/Camp Confidence to join discussions and to submit community questions.
You can also follow me at Ayn Bernos and at Morena the Label and at ideology.studio on Instagram.
And you will see me on at Rizza Lana, at lana.ph, at mink.ph on Instagram. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye! Bye, bye, bye. Yay.